Hello, and thanks for joining us for our weekly music show. Coming up.
I love God, I love speed, I love drink, I love me.
Untitled, Unmastered, a rapper at the peak of his powers, Kendrick Lamar's surprise release. Nearly 20 years after Jeff Buckley's death, a new album emerges with 10 previously unreleased tracks recorded early in his career. It's their first music for a decade. All Saints released the video for their comeback single One Strike, about Nicole Appleton's split from Liam Gallagher. And I'm joined by France 24's music critic Richelle Harrison Plesse. Hello.
Hi, Eve.
Now, we're starting with this week's new releases. Fresh from his success at the Grammy Awards last month, Kendrick Lamar has released some new material.
That's right, and I hesitate to even call it an album because, after all, there are only 8 tracks and they don't even have any names. Even King Kendrick himself has dubbed the surprise drop a project. Now, it's called Untitled, Unmastered, and as the name suggests, it's a collection of raw demos, many of them recorded during the 2013 and 2014 sessions for his last album, To Pimp a Butterfly. Some of the new tunes may be familiar to the rapper's fans because he did tease them during recent TV performances stateside, from the Colbert Report to The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon. Now, it seems like Untitled Unmastered was released to give Kendrick fans a quick fix, really, rather than exist as a full-length follow-up to Butterfly, which took home, as you say, 5 awards at this year's Grammys, including the trophy for Best Rap Album.
OK, well, in Entitled One, and we hear some quite strong themes. Let's have a listen.
I love God, I love speed, I love drink, I love me, I love oceans in the deep, I love women, I love me, I love God. But I'm scared of God.
There we go, that's one of the tracks on the album. It's called Untitled One. You can kind of guess what the others on the album are called. And there are descriptions of towers crumbling, oceans drying, and rapists fleeing, a promise of an end to war, discrimination, and superficiality. Does all the material hit as hard as that on the album?
Well, he definitely has a bleak view of the world if we were to really, delve into the lyrics. He raps about poverty, racism, the sex abuse scandal in the Catholic Church, hopelessness in the face of adversity. But, if you know Butterfly, it didn't shy away from hard-hitting issues either. You just have to listen to The Black of the Berry or All Right. So for me, it feels, if it feels like a natural progression from Butterfly, that's normal because there are, these are cuts that were supposed to go on that album.
OK, well, let's move on to our next release. Nearly 20 years after his death, there's a new Jeff Buckley record out this week.
Yes, You and I is made up of previously unheard recordings from very early on in Buckley's career. He'd just been signed to Columbia Records, but the album is mostly covers of songs by The Smiths, Led Zeppelin and Bob Dylan, although there is an original song on there called Dream of You and I, plus the first ever recording of his first single, Grace. Now, for more than 20 years, these songs sat unheard, sat in the studio vaults, but they've been brought to life after their release got the green light from Buckley's mother.
OK, well, he drowned in 1997 when he was only 30, but since his death there have been several posthumous releases, haven't they?
Yeah, and big time chart success really only came after his death. Many people know him, of course, for his beautiful cover of Leonard Cohen's song Hallelujah, which soared to the top of the charts back in 2008. As for You and I, fans will no doubt love its unpolished, sort of rough around the edges sound, but for me it's the work of an artist who's still trying to find his feet and trying to find his voice. So let's check out Jeff Buckley's version of Sly and the Family Stone's Everyday People.
Loud, everyday people. Yeah. There is a blue one that won't accept the green one. For living with the fat one, trying to be a skinny one. Different strokes for different folks, and so on and so on, and Scooby-Dooby-Dooby. Ooh, sha-sha. We got to live together.
And that was from Jeff Buckley's new album out this week called You and I. Well, to a French trio now who started off as a YouTube sensation, but they've got much bigger than that, haven't they?
Yeah, L.E.J, which stands for Lucie, Elisa and Juliette, are 3 childhood friends from the Paris suburbs. The trio went viral with their 2015 mashup of summer anthems, which covered everyone from Rihanna to Major Lazer and Bruno Mars. Now, they recently played a show at La Cigale, and France 24's Olivia Salazar-Winspear and Alex Le Bourdon went to meet them.
It might look like a classical recital, but quickly the crowd warms up. And L.E.J shift to pure pop. Bringing their own touch to big names like Adele, David Guetta, Major Lazer, and showing a certain flair for French rap.
It was really great. Even the new songs they did, it was crazy.
Everything was good. The girls are perfect.
And their vocal performances were excellent. Really great.
I discovered them through my friends at school. They had the CD, and so I listened to it and I loved it.
Well, I'm a bit demanding about technical aspects, so it was a bit simplistic, but anyway, it was good. It works nicely for a live show.
The girls started making music together in late 2013. Just a year and a half and 1 viral video later, everyone was talking about L.E.J. The YouTube sensation Summer 2015 was a mashup of 11 different covers. It pushed them to the top of the charts in France, and offers for concerts started pouring in.
I was saying it's impossible, and they said, ta-da, here's your dates. And we were like, what, you're crazy, we'll never fill these concerts. And here we are at La Cigale, and it's sold out.
And in any case, it was never a real plan. We never sat down and said, let's start a band and go and play at the Cigale.
No way, it was totally spontaneous.
The trio all have a background in classical music, technical grounding they've used for their upcoming album, which will see them move on from covers and feature mainly original compositions.
Well, the producer just said in my ear, they're so awful, aren't they? Harsh. What do you make of L.E.J, Richelle?
Well, I do like that their music is all about their vocal harmonies, with only a cello and occasionally a single snare drum to back them up. Don't get me wrong, I think they're very talented girls, but I have to be honest, the accents when they sing in English are distracting for me. I think that it works much better in French.
Okay. Right, well, maybe they'll get better. Practice makes perfect. They're only young after all. Well, for those in Paris this weekend, the FAME, or FAME Festival, is back for a 3rd year running.
Yeah, celebrating cinema and pop culture. FAME stands for Film and Music Experience. It's all happening at the Gaîté Lyrique, which is in the heart of Paris. Now, the festival kicks off on Thursday with 4 days of house and hip-hop shows, plus movie screenings, some rare films, others never before seen in France. One premiere that I'm looking forward to is Inside the Mind of Favela Funk. It's a Dutch-produced documentary that explores the underground Brazilian musical genre called Baile Funk, and basically how that ties in with the lives of Brazilian youths in the favelas or the shanty towns of Rio de Janeiro.
Okay. Well, moving on now to a comeback. 2016 seems to be a bit of a comeback year so far, and one of Britain's most beloved girl groups have released the video for their first single in almost a decade.
Yes, dust off your cargo trousers. The All Saints are back together 15 years after they split amid a highly publicised spat involving a jacket, of all things. Now, it's actually their second reunion, but most of us prefer to forget their 2006 attempt at a comeback in their flop of a third album, Studio One. On the other hand, everyone fondly remembers their their classic turn-of-the-millennium hit, Pure Shores, which was featured on the Beach soundtrack, a film that starred Leonardo DiCaprio.
I get the impression you're a little bit in love with them.
A little bit.
How are they sounding a decade later?
Well, I think that the new single, One Strike, I think it's loyal to the girls' trademark sound. That is lush, dreamy, moody pop with angelic harmonies. Yet it's fresh and a teaser, really, of what fans can expect when their new album, Red Flag, drops on April the 8th. Now, the track was written by Shaznay Lewis about fellow member Nicole Appleton and her messy breakup with Oasis frontman Liam Gallagher. Critics and fans alike are excited about this particular comeback. Let's face it, the All Saints were the cool alternative to the brash Spice Girls, and you know, 90s nostalgia is so hot right now.
It certainly is. Richelle, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Eve.
Now we're going to leave you with a clip of All Saints' latest single, One Strike. You can make up your own mind. Remember our website. We're also on Twitter and Facebook. There's more news coming up on France 24 after this.
Reporters.
In Marua, in the far north of Cameroon, the locals have grown used to suicide attacks by Boko Haram. But now the government has set up an elite army unit to track down the suicide bombers. They're being helped by the villagers, who've borne the brunt of Boko Haram's attacks. France 24 looks at their daily lives in a war of which the outcome is still uncertain.
Reporters on France 24 and France24.com.